Welcome back, Truth Seeker. February 15th, 2019. Today, Donald Trump declared a national emergency to get funds to build the border wall. And this is happening on the 46th day of the year and not by accident. It has everything to do with the Masonic motto, order out of chaos. As I said before this year began, chaos would be the theme. Headlines right now: Trump declares national emergency to build wall, starts constitutional chaos. All sorts of headlines like this have already emerged. Chaos is the word. Before Trump even took office, I explained why he would be the order out of chaos candidate. So we're going to review some of these things and talk about a few other important things, going all the way back to the track down episode about the con man named Trump who tried to build a wall in Texas. So today, the 46th day of the year, it's 2019. In Gematria, chaos equals 46 and 19. It's the reason it's the word of the year. If you're new here, the way these ciphers work: chaos sums to 46 when you use the alphabetic order. C is the third letter of the alphabet, H is the 8th, A is the 1st, O is the 15th, S is the 19th. You add up those letters, 46. This cipher is just the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So C is still 3, H is still 8, A is still 1, O is where it changes. O is the 15th letter. In numerology, you make each number a single digit. So the numerology of 15, and O is the 15th letter. The numerology is 1 plus 5 is 6. So O becomes 6. S, the 19th letter, becomes 1. 19 is 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So you add up 3 plus 8 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1, it equals 19. So on the 46th day in the year 2019, Trump creates the chaos. And what this takes me back to is his wife's 46th birthday. Melania's birthday is April 26th. She turned 46 in 2016. On this day, Trump gave what he called his victory speech long before the election, and he made two guarantees: that he would beat Hillary Clinton and that he would build the wall. He made those promises, just two, on this day, on his wife's 46th birthday. Now here we are on the 46th day of 2019. So from Trump's birthday, which is June 14th, which is also the flag's birthday, he was born in the year 46 as well. From his birthday to the day he was inaugurated as the 45th president, he was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days. The key digits there are the 777. In Jewish gematria, which is based on the old Latin order of the English alphabet, order out of chaos equals 777. We pointed this out even before Trump took office, that he would be the divide and conquer candidate, that he would be the order out of chaos candidate. Go back and see my video from February 2016 when I said why he made perfect sense to be the next president and the ongoing agenda in this nation. Notice also, national emergency has this gematria of 89. Chaos also sums to 89 when you turn the alphabetic order around. This is making Z1 counting back to A is 26, the alphabetic order in reverse. Chaos is 89 to go with national emergency on this 46th day of the year in 2019. From the day Trump took office, January 20th, 2017 to today, February 15th, 2019, is exactly 108 weeks later. And why does that matter? It matters because Berlin Wall sums to 108 in 45. Recall, Donald Trump was announced as the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall in the early hours of November 9th, 2016. And made a video moments after that was declared to be the outcome. Said, look at this. Donald Trump, Mr. Wall, now announced as the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. You know, at that same time, he just had his GOP convention in Quicken Loans Arena, and they were running a viral commercial about Humpty Dumpty falling off his wall. Humpty Dumpty happens to sum to 58, like how Donald Trump was the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. So Berlin Wall, 108, 45. This comes 108 weeks after the 45th president takes office. And think about that. Berlin Wall 45 announces the 45th president-elect on the day. So Trump says he's expecting to be sued. This is the expected chaos, the planned distraction. And that's what it is every day in America. A new contrived ordeal to distract us from our reality. And that is that we're lied to every day. We're engaged in illegal wars. We're taxed without representation. There's poison in our food. There's poison in our skies. Every day, they need to keep our minds occupied with the latest theater, which comes from Washington, D.C. We don't have a government. We have a puppet show of supposed elective representatives. They don't count our votes either. All of this stuff's predetermined, just like how, well, if you haven't read my book, you really should. Decades and decades of predictive programming for Trump to win the 58th U.S. presidential election. But our government is a show. What really runs this nation are the banks and the corporations. It's their dictatorship. Every so many years, they give us new puppets to keep us occupied, to keep us fighting amongst ourselves over our two parties that don't represent us, that serve the corporate cronies. For the record, border wall, perfect overlap with president. You know, it's been the big focus since before he took office. And today's date, 56 numerology, Washington, D.C., 56. The chaos is going to be in Washington, D.C., the lawsuits, the fighting amongst the parties. So perfect day for all of this to go down. And believe it or don't believe it, but think about it. It's all been planned since before Trump even took office. He's just the puppet on strings along with the rest of these members of Congress and the Senate. So again, 46th day of the year, this happens. On Melania's 46th birthday, Trump gave his victory speech guaranteeing he'd beat Hillary and build the wall. Melania was 46 years old that day. And from that day to the date of the election was 197 days later, which is the 45th prime number, the 45th prime. So he gave that speech a span of 197 days from election day. If you don't count the span, what's actually 197 days later is November 9th, the day that he was determined to be the winner. 197, the 45th prime, all a perfect planned puppet show. Recall, when Trump gave his speech about the wall, where he addressed the nation from the Oval Office, that speech was 11 minutes. It began at 9 o'clock and ended at 9:11 p.m. sharp. 9:11. 9/11. Why does that matter? Again, because he was announced as the 45th president-elect on November 9th, a date that's written 9/11 in the majority of the world. In 2009, he performed this commercial for Serta mattresses. Think about it, sheep and sleeping, which is what you have to be to think Donald Trump's anything other than a New World Order stooge. But he did this speech in 2009 for Serta mattresses, talking to sheep with the numbers 9 and 11. He wore the same suit and tie that he wore for election night, and he said he was born for the job. Now, what do you think he was talking about? He also said they'd never count sheep again. Anyway, 9/11. Donald Trump ends up becoming the president-elect on this date. Sheep on pillars with 9 and 11. Just think about it. If you've never seen this commercial, look it up. It ends with Donald Trump saying, "Looking good, number 9, looking good." When you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. This sheep gets the last word in the commercial. He says, "Where's your dignity?" And he's talking to all the Trump supporters. No doubt about it. All the pussy grabber supporters, to be more clear. And for the record, in Jewish Gematria, Donald's 119. He ran during the hit show House of Cards, where the president was Francis Underwood. Donald Trump, Trump card. First time ever on Time magazine holding the ace card. House of Cards. Star of David, Orthodox Ashkenazi Jews, all seeing eye, all 119. Donald Trump. Crypto Jew. At the Western Wall by the numbers, at the Vatican by the numbers. By the way, that ad for Serta equals 63, also like Berlin Wall. When you add 1 through 63 together, it equals 2016, like the year he became the president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the wall. Trump in that speech that ended at 9/11 was sure to include remarks about a 45-minute meeting. And adding insult to injury, Donald Trump, who used to host the WWE events prior to being a president, who also participated in WrestleMania, the night that he gave that speech that ended at 9/11 sharp in the world of wrestling, Chris Jericho made a major announcement. And check this out about Chris Jericho. His birthday is November 9th. Chris Jericho's birthday is November 9th. He's 48 years old. Wall equals 48. Donald Trump equals 48. The same night that Trump gives a speech about the wall, Chris Jericho makes a huge announcement in wrestling that he's switching leagues. And the reason this matters is because Jericho is a biblical city about where there's a story about a wall coming down. The walls of Jericho fell after Joshua's Israelite army marched around the city blowing their trumpets, like the trumpets ticket. And Holy Bibles, 45 forwards and backwards, all things we've been talking about for years. Plus, Jericho's theme song is Break the Walls Down. Again, the whole world of entertainment, sports, media, government, it's all scripted together. This is what my book's about. You know, this is what I've been educating about for 5 years. You know, we called the Super Bowl 2 years ago the day that Donald Trump took on the NFL over the flag protest. We said, there it is. It'll be Eagles and Patriots. Wasn't hard to see knowing the code. For the record, Jericho's full name has Gematria of 134. The wrestler's name's Christopher Keith Irvine, 134 like Make America Great Again. Jericho's also 68 like Donald John Trump, like The Apprentice. This is the mockery. And I'm always amazed how many people follow my work, but will leave comments like, you're right about everything, but Trump's actually a good guy. It's like, how much cognitive dissonance are you guys still suffering from? Are you kidding me? This guy is a puppet. This guy is a goon. You know, he's mocked every group of people. Now he's mocking Native Americans who were genociding. You see our Congress taking a vote to block the mockery of the Native genocide. Oh, no. They're taking a vote because you can't be anti-Semitic. You can't say that AIPAC has a lot of financial influence. That's anti-Semitic to speak facts. So Donald Trump, remember he had that big weekend event January 19th about the wall too, another 119 date, another 911 date to go with ending his speech at 9/11, the Orange Oompa Loompa. Everything about this guy's gross. So let's go back to that trackdown episode from May 9th, 1958. 58 years before Donald Trump would win the rigged election that he was born for, as he said in his Serta commercial. This episode is set in Talpa, Texas, about a con man named Trump convincing people they need a wall to be safe. Talpa, Texas, 119. Like the day Trump would be announced as the president-elect, the anniversary of the fall of the wall. The name of that episode, Trackdown, 134, like Make America Great Again. Also like the name Melania. Melania's 134. Jared Kushner's 134. There's actually a lot of 134 with Trump. House of Cards equals 134. There's a whole lot. But the date of this episode, the day it came out, May 9th, 1958, from that episode released to Trump's 12th birthday, he turned 12, a span of 37 days later. 37 is the 12th prime number. Kind of like how we called American Pharaoh to be the 12th Triple Crown winner before any races were won, because it had been 37 years since the last Triple Crown. Again, from news to sports, everything is scripted this way. What are the odds of that? From the release of this episode about a con man named Trump to his 12th birthday, 37 days, 37, the 12th prime. What are the odds? It's also 5 weeks and 2 days, kind of like 52. President, White House, government, authority, they're all 52. Donald Trump went to the Jesuit Fordham. 52 years later, he was the president-elect. Went there in 64. Don't forget, right after Trump took the White House, on the 48th day of the year, the movie The Great Wall came out with Matt Damon. Again, wall equals 48, so does Donald Trump. Around that same time, LeBron James, the star basketball player in Cleveland who played in the arena where Trump had his convention, he had a show come out called The Wall. Cleveland equals 48, James 48, Hollywood 48, and Donald Trump 48. There's just been so many riddles with walls and Trump that just continue to build. And it won't end here today. There'll be more and more and more. The whole show will unfold by the numbers. I just noticed the wall equals 108. Remember, we talked about how today is 108 weeks on the nose since Trump became president-elect. The wall 108, Berlin Wall 108. The wall. There was a recent headline that made me laugh. LeBron taking the Trump approach to selling himself. Remember, these guys were both in the White House being congratulated by Obama on the same day. LeBron won the NBA championship on the real King James's birthday, as predicted. And then Donald Trump won the rigged election. And they met in the White House on the same day where the Cleveland Browns were playing just up the road, playing the Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens that used to be the Cleveland Browns. It couldn't have been any more of a Cleveland 48 ritual. That was on a Thursday, the day of Thursday Night Football. So we'll wrap it up there. Again, if you're sleeping on Gematria, you're sleeping on the most important knowledge there is in the world to see through the lies, the scripting, the mockery, the agenda. Shame on any truth channel that neglects this information or talks down about it. You know, had that idiot Nathan say, it could all be coincidence. Same moron that talks out of his ass on every subject and treats news stories like they're real. And look, that's what most of these truth channels do. They just get on and just read news stories and then spout their opinion on what they think about the, contrived propaganda for people to get lost in. So I'm going to close by saying one last thing. I'm not mad at the Illuminati or the Freemasons or the puppet government, the New World Order. It's not their fault. It's the people's fault. The people are so dumb to not see through this stuff. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. The Illuminati couldn't do anything that it does if the people weren't so pathetic. And that's just the fact. And honestly, I'm saying this as someone who saw through the lies as a child. I'm 35 going on 36 years old. I've seen through this stuff for well over 20 years. September 11th was the mockery of all of us who saw through it. Again, the Illuminati could only get away with what they get away with because the people are so retarded. And, people are out there saying, yeah, but it's not their fault. They're chemically dumbed down. Well, educate yourself. My mom, not well educated, high school dropout, cleaned houses. She learned in the 70s, fluoride, bad. You don't have to be educated. You just have to have a little effort, a little willingness, a little open-mindedness. The problem is the people, period. Who could have ever supported Donald Trump? Only the dumbest amongst us. Who could vote for any of these elections? Only the dumbest amongst us. Who thinks elections are still legitimate after what happened with Papa Bush and Bush Jr. coming down to the state where his brother was the governor? You have to be so dumb. It's not the Illuminati, it's the people. So I'm going to leave it right there. Be back on the Patreon in minutes. And be back with the nightly podcast later. Till next time, Truth Seeker.